Welcome to Sunday's edition of the dceu Daily, and welcome to Movies TV Mad, my channel. What I say goes. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad, on Instagram at Movies TV Mad 555, and of course on TikTok at Movies TV Mad XXX. So welcome to Sunday's edition of the dceu Daily. Today we'll be talking about a brand new live-action Justice League being introduced via Andy Muschietti's Flash movie, and then afterwards I'll be talking about how Smallville, the ghost of Smallville, hurt Man of Steel, and the entirety of the DCEU, but mainly the live-action Superman in the DCEU. So yes, there is a rumour that Andy Muschietti in his Flash movie will introduce a brand new Justice League. Again, this doesn't come as much as a surprise to me. What does this actually mean? Does this mean we will have a ready-to-go Justice League when Barry reboots the universe? Will they already be there? Or will they take their time and set this up? We heard about the other rumour. We discussed it yesterday on my rant video, where they're talking about, what's her name again? Black Canary, that's right. Black Canary actually forming a Justice League in the new DCEU, and I even spoke about how this actually happened in the comics after Crisis on Infinite Earths and a multiversal war. So, if they're going to introduce a brand new Justice League, who's going to be in it? Because whether we've got a ready-to-go Justice League by the end of the Flash movie, or it's the beginning of a new one that needs to be set up, we need new members. Of course, it's difficult to kind of predict who's going to be in it because we don't know who's going to be deleted from the franchise. But then again, there was a video that was posted from DC Fandom celebrating the multiversal heroes of DC, the multiversal live-action heroes. We had Ray Fisher's Cyborg, we had Snyder's universe, and we had Smallville. We had the whole shebang. And it was a really great video. Try and find it on YouTube. I saw it on Twitter, but I can't find it on YouTube. I think it's a brand new one. But anyway, unless it's a fan one. But I don't think so. Anyway, it was a great video. So we've been talking about deleting the DCEU and deleting the Snyderverse. Maybe that's not their plan. We know that Andy Muschietti is a big fan of the Snyder Cut. We know that he's employed... what's his name? The guy who did the VFX for Zack Snyder, and he did the VFX for Zack Snyder in the Snyder Cut as well. Great job, may I say as well. So it's not like WB are rejecting the Snyderverse, and it looks like, at least in the first half of the Flash movie, that we're going to get these characters and the Snyder Cut is going to be canon. That's what it looks like. Again, I could be wrong though. We'll have to wait and see for the movie. It could be that nothing's deleted, but it could be that the Snyderverse is deleted. We simply don't know. We don't know enough, but we can make some, harmless predictions. So let's just say they delete the DCEU Earth 1 and they delete certain and several characters from the Justice League. It's always seemed the foregone conclusion who's going to stay and who's going to go. Again, we simply do not know what they are planning. That's what makes it all very exciting to me. So I think in this new Justice League, I think we can say that Sasha Calais' Supergirl will be a member, and what's her name? Is it Leslie Grace? I think it's Leslie Grace. Leslie Grace's Batgirl will be part of this new Justice League. Blue Beetle will be part of this Justice League. It could be that they start the smaller characters. They bring the smaller characters in first and the huger IP characters in later on. Now, also, because it confuses the issue, because we don't know if they're setting up a multiverse Justice League as well as several domestic Justice Leagues, which they'd have to take their time. But seeing we're only focusing on one Earth for now, and again, for example, Ta-Nehisi Coates and J.J. Abrams' Superman, I think is set in the 90s or something. So that's interesting. So if he's not the same Superman, if they're not replacing Cavill with a black Superman and he's a separate Superman, this Superman can be part of the new DCEU Earth 1, not the old one, as well as Cavill. If he's a replacement for Cavill, that's different. But again, he could be part of another Earth. But let's just assume that they all find themselves in Matt Reeves' Earth 2, and that's the central Earth from now on. You could have a situation where you have Ta-Nehisi Coates' Superman, Michael B. Jordan's Val Zod, and even Cavill's Superman. Now, there is a rumour that Man of Steel will remain canon within the multiverse strategy in the Flash movie and beyond. Again, we don't know these things. That could be wishful thinking. So I've just named 3 members of this new Justice League, and I think the newer characters, like the Green Lantern Corps HBO Max show, I think those characters, like the Guy Gardners and the characters they're introducing, will be part of the new Justice League as well, and probably may even feature in the Flash movie. The Flash movie is such a complicated movie, and then we've discussed before, this is why it's taking so long to shoot, nearly 5 months now. Wow, the longer the better. Take your time, make this the best movie ever. We need it. As discussed in my rant yesterday, we need it to be the best movie ever. So I think those people will definitely be in the new Justice League. And if I'm right that we are setting up Matt Reeves' Earth 2 to be the central Earth, you would say that Pattinson, Robert Pattinson's Batman, will be part of this new Justice League, maybe even the leader. We'll have to wait and see what happens, because again, I keep on saying, we simply don't know enough information on this film. Knowing that Keaton's in this, and this is kind of a subplotted Flashpoint story, it doesn't really mean we know everything. And so obviously we're going to get new members. You would imagine that maybe even people like Deathstroke may be members of it. It's happened in the comics before. I think it's happened in the comics recently. And it's very, very interesting when we look at the Superman and Lois universe, because I want you to all understand, as I've explained to you multiple times, the multiverse will be canon. That means everything in live action will be canon. So, we know recently there's actually, Superboy has become the new Superman in the comics now. Now, they're setting up Superboy in Superman and Lois, aren't they? He could be a member of the new Justice League. But not now, because obviously that story's still being developed. And of course, Tyler Hoechlin's Superman will feature maybe even a part of this multiverse Justice League. That excites me, even just by talking about it. We'll have to wait and see. But I think those new members that I've just said could be in it, I think will be in it. But in terms of, a fully fledged Justice League, I don't know. Because in the comics, the Justice League, you get new members all the time. You would have to. And there's rumours, obviously, of Martian Manhunter from the Snyder Cut being involved in Flash as well. So he could be a new member of this Justice League. It would be interesting if he actually remains canon within the new DC live action universe, the new DCEU. I mean, I would say that would make Snyder fans happy, but we know it's all or nothing with a lot of those acolytes. So it's difficult to please everyone in this scenario. And so, yeah, I think a fully fledged, brand new Justice League is being developed. Now, whether it will be set up within the Flash movie is another case in point. Again, because when you're dealing with the multiverse and you're dealing with multiple versions of these DC characters, what Flashpoint can also do can change what these people look like. I mean, I've said it before about Ezra Miller. They could easily recast him or replace him with another multiversal version of this character, which would upset some people and wouldn't upset the others. This is a nagging feeling I've been having for a very long time about Ezra Miller. I'm not sure if they kind of felt they were stuck with him and they had to carry on the movie with him, or if they're confident in him being the Flash of the future. Now, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Ezra Miller is a very, very good actor. He proves that in Fantastic Beasts and Fantastic Beasts 2. He's probably one of the better things of Fantastic Beasts 2. Fantastic Beasts 2 is a bit of a mess, unfortunately. I don't know what went wrong there. I think it's J.K. Rowling's inexperience as a screenwriter. Unfortunately, and now I don't think she's even going to be involved. I don't know what's going on. Is she involved with Fantastic Beasts? Because she's been cancelled by the public over, her opinions on the transgender community. I wish people would just keep their opinions to themselves, but never mind. Never mind, Harry Potter isn't our problem on this video, although I'm a big Harry Potter fan. So we have this brand new Justice League. Let's just say, for argument's sake, they're going to kind of introduce the beginning, a fledgling Justice League to this. Now, will we get a Flashpoint Superman in this movie? Will he be another version of Superman? Will Ta-Nehisi Coates' Superman actually be a Flashpoint Superman? Now, in the comics, the Flashpoint Superman is actually a very skinny Superman who wasn't brought up by the Kents. He was hidden underground, away from the light. So we could see a version of that. I mean, it's fascinating, isn't it? It is tremendously exciting that we could have a brand new Justice League being born in this Flash movie. But what's even, excuse me, sorry about that. I hate when that happens on a video, but it's my biology. I can't help it. Anyway, let's get back to the matter at point. But it is also interesting what elements of Flashpoint they're actually going to utilize in this movie. Now, we've been told this is not a copy and paste, but I do have a suspicion we will get a Flashpoint Superman like we got in the graphic novel as well. So I'm not saying they're going to use everything from Flashpoint. I mean, there are rumours they won't use kind of evil Diana and evil Aquaman. I think that's a shame. That's some of the best stuff from the Flashpoint graphic novel. But they're a bit worried about using Diana and Gal Gadot in those terms. But you could actually use another actress to play evil Diana. That would solve the problem, as well as, I mean, it'd be amazing for Diana to meet her, but I don't think, doesn't happen in the graphic novel, so I can't see it happening here. But that would solve a certain problem. You can have another actor playing Aquaman, maybe more comic accurate in looks wise. So you got the Momoa one in the Central Universe, but you got this one as well. And so you could actually still do that storyline within this Flashpoint movie, but use other actors. A few months ago there was a rumour, and I think I mentioned it when I was doing my lives every day, that apparently there's another version of Diana, of Wonder Woman, in this movie as well. These are just rumours and conjecture, of course. There's so much conjecture for this movie because everyone's so excited for it, but as I've already said, no one really knows what's happening with this movie. So I think we can guess and guess and guess who are going to be the members of this new Justice League. I think we can guess and guess and guess who's being deleted, who's remaining. Will we ever see Henry Cavill's Superman again? These are questions we simply don't know. And whatever videos you see out there, they simply don't know either. Now, we're obviously getting a sneak peek of the Flash movie. Now, this sneak peeks normally are scenes or sequences. It could be a mini trailer, I don't know. Could we get a sizzle reel? The thing is, by October the 16th, would they have finished shooting this movie? That's an interesting one. I mean, originally when this shoot started, I would have said yes. But no, I don't think maybe they would have finished by then. We've been told this is a complex movie, so this is taking a lot longer than anyone ever imagined, and because it's not being released till November, even if they don't finish shooting, which would be crazy, right, till January, they've still got from February to November to finish the film off. So that's fine. There's no problem with the schedule of this movie's release, but it is a very complicated movie they are doing. Technically as well, we've been told by the cinematographer. So I think this is why we're getting a sneak peek. I think what Andy and the studio have decided, they've said, right, pick a scene, clean it up, give it the VFX it needs, make it look professional, make it look as awesome as possible, and we'll show them that at DC Fandom, which I think is a very, very good idea. I've predicted it's a scene between Keaton and Ezra Miller. We will have to wait and see about that. But yeah, this film is certainly an unknown quantity, and lots of things are coming out all the time. But we do know that this film will show us so many different iterations of these DC characters. And I'm assuming we will see every DCEU hero we've ever seen on the big and small screen. So that's exciting as well. But yes, that's what we're hearing. A brand new Justice League will be introduced via Andy Muschietti Flash movie. Again, everyone's going to have opinions about this, like if Black Canary does form a Justice League and is the leader of the Justice League. People said to me, what do you think about a woman, forming a new Justice League, or, being the leader of a new Justice League? I simply don't care about the gender of the character. I've said it yesterday, the actor, she's very critically acclaimed. Black Canary was probably the best thing about Birds of Prey. I think she was better than Robbie's Harley Quinn. So we all like her, right? And I don't see an issue with this whatsoever, as long as they do it properly, right? And that's the thing. Make it work. Make it work for the audience. Let's start this new era of the DC live-action universe in the right way, instead of the problems. I don't want to see, from the Batman onwards, I don't want to see controversy. I don't want to hear people being made to hate things because it's divisive. One thing the DCEU, the new DC live-action universe, must do is not be divisive. We can't afford to be divisive anymore or controversial. No, 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 Mr. and Mrs. or however you identify. I want DC fans and everyone who's interested in this franchise to come in and be excited and be happy to embrace these new ideas. There's going to be a lot of people who reject this movie first off, but I think as people see the plan, they'll like the plan. There's no question. I think Ann Sarnoff, Walter Hamada and Jim Lee have sat down together and really thought about this plan. But if you're doing a multiverse, make it a multiverse and make everything potentially connect. And I think that's the hard job about it, getting this multiverse and connecting the dots together. And I think it's exciting. I don't envy the people who have to do this, which is really Walter Hamada. He's the one who has to roll up his sleeves and do this. But for the fans, because luckily for us we don't have to do it, we just can enjoy it and chat about it on our videos and other people's videos like you're doing now, and just wait and see what happens. I said yesterday on my rant video, I do have a good feeling about the new era of DC live action. I think when people have to pull something off, when they're under the gun, they make it work. I think Walter Hamada has brought in directors that he trusts, that he's worked with before over at New Line Cinema with his horror division. That's important. I mean, I think the thing is with Todd Phillips, he and Walter never worked together before, and I think that was somewhat where the problems came from. Todd called him a small-time, horror division, producer, and I don't think that was very, very nice, because Walter Hamada, and I've looked into the guy, this guy hasn't even got a parking ticket. He's very good at what he does. Now we look at the mistakes of the DCEU, which we keep on talking about, but really those were other people running that, running those movies, like Margot Robbie with Birds of Prey, and what's her name, Patty Jenkins with Wonder Woman 84. We've referenced that before. And I think in terms of Aquaman and Shazam, he did a good job with the budget. They became very successful. They were unproblematic movies as well. And I think that's really the way we want to go with it. At first, you can do risky projects when you become a popular franchise. I mean, seeing the success of Shang-Chi over this weekend makes me very envious. I'm happy for the MCU. I'm happy for Sam Liu, who's dreamed of playing a superhero all his life, which is great. But for me as a DC and DCEU stan, I'm very, very envious. But they did the hard graft at the beginning. Faye got a lot of hate at the beginning, but they stuck with him, and it's worked. So this new plan, we must stick with it, and we must go the full way with it. Because I think what I'm hearing from this new iteration of DC live action is extremely exciting. And I can't wait. I mean, this movie is the movie that we're all waiting for, because we're all kind of so excited to see. Even the people who don't want things to change are kind of intrigued or excited about seeing what they're going to do with this film. A brand new Justice League, who's staying, who's going. This is a thing that's been in development since Hamada joined in 2018. So it has been thought through, and we really don't know anything. People are predicting Affleck will be deleted, Cavill, nobody really knows about Cavill. He keeps on getting project after project. He could be the new James Bond as well. They're not making those decisions over MGM and Eon right now, but I'm sure they've spoken to him. I'm sure he will be having a chat with Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson So who knows? So, a brand new Justice League could be introduced in Andy Muschietti's Flash movie. And if so, I can't wait to see these brand new members, because I, for one, will welcome them with open arms. In 2011, Smallville finished its iconic decade-long run, but the ghost of Smallville would haunt all iterations from Smallville. Sorry, say that again. The ghost of Smallville would haunt all future live-action iterations of Superman of all time. Smallville had the time and the nuance to do something special with Superman, to take him from his very origins, change little elements of his origins, but not things that fundamentally changed what the character is, but kept the character pure and bright. Yes, he took a dark turn now and again, but he didn't stay there for long, and he went back to being the Clark Kent that everybody knows and loves. That's the thing with Smallville. Smallville always went back to the hopeful character. You know, the Clark Kent we've always known and loved. Now, even though he's not Superman in this show, he has his powers, he saves people, so he literally is Superman, but he's not there yet. He's not officially Superman. And so it really got you to imagine what this character could be in the future. It was a sensational show. So Smallville, as I say, was not cancelled, but they finished the run in 2011. Then it was quickly announced that Christopher Nolan would be involved with a Superman movie. Now, from what I heard, it was Nolan who ordered the cancellation of Smallville, because they were worried about Smallville still being active during their kind of take of Superman, because a lot of people blame the popularity of Smallville for the failure of Superman Returns, and I kind of agree with that. Here's the problem with Man of Steel, a film I love, and BVS, another film I love. They went down a very dark path. They went down a very different avenue to what Smallville did. Now, by doing this, when Smallville was only a couple of years old, when Man of Steel was released in movie theatres, people had the memories of Smallville. I mean, some of us believe that Smallville is probably the best live-action iteration of Superman. It covered so many things about this character. And as I say, just because he's not Superman, it doesn't mean it's not a Superman show, because it's about the character at his very core. And Smallville was able to deal with so many iconic Superman and DC villains, you know, characters that have always been part of the Superman universe. It was a sensational success. And you look at Man of Steel and you look at Superman's role in BVS, and you kind of think that Hollywood don't think, or some people in Hollywood who are not Superman fans don't feel Superman's a very interesting character, and they feel the only way of making him interesting is making him more gritty, realistic, darker. Even the evil Superman kind of thing has been mentioned a few times, but Smallville were able to make this character interesting to us, the audience, without, twisting the narrative. So what Snyder and Nolan and Goyer did with Man of Steel, they twisted the narrative. Now, to be clear, Man of Steel is a more brighter take than Superman is in BVS, and that's fair. But then when Nolan and Goyer left, Snyder doubled down on the darkness and grittiness of this, as a lot of people have called him, Emo Superman. Now, we did kind of have an Emo Superman in season 9 of Smallville. He wore the Neo long black coat, he had a t-shirt on with kind of the S-shield on it, right? And he would, stamp his S-shield everywhere he went when he saved people. It was pretty cool. That was after Jimmy Olsen had died. After Doomsday, he was very, very upset, and he was in a dark path. And then Zod arrives. So season 9, in its entirety, mostly is kind of a somber, darker season, but it still has bright moments. And ultimately, Clark becomes the Clark Kent we've known and loved for the previous 8 seasons, as he fights Zod, not using his powers, and he makes the ultimate sacrifice in the end. And I think it's great that Smallville would give darker elements to this character, but they would never keep him dark. Now, Snyder has always professed and acclaimed that he was, deconstructing Superman to reconstruct him in the third Justice League movie, where he would lead a meta-human army against Darkseid, which is great. I can imagine that in my imagination, and I'm excited for that. I don't know if we'll ever see that. I hope we do, but who knows? But I think that's kind of an interesting thing. I just think the Snyderverse came too quickly for Superman after Smallville, and I think the ghost of Smallville is what haunted Man of Steel and BVS, and not Christopher Reeve's Superman. Of course, people, I mean, I love Christopher Reeve's Superman. That's how I fell in love with the character, as, you know, long-running viewers of this channel will know. But a lot of people kind of say, oh yeah, you're all obsessed with Christopher Reeve's Superman. I don't think Christopher Reeve's Superman was the ghost that was haunting the DCEU. I think it was Smallville. We just came off a decade-long run of one of the best, you know, kind of adaptations of Superman in live action. They did so much. A great Superman, probably still to this day the best version of Lex Luthor, Lois Lane, Martha Kent, Jonathan Kent. They had it all. Jor-El, a great voice by Terrence Stamp for Jor-El. We had a really great kind of Brainiac, even though he's not the iconic looking Brainiac. They did their best under their budget, and I think they did a great job with James Masters. You know, the greatest Lana Lang ever. You know, and I can go on. There's so many elements to this. They gave us original characters like Lionel Luthor and, you know, Chloe Sullivan. And so Smallville did so much. And ultimately, and then Snyder used to watch Smallville with his kids, and he said he loved it. Bryan Singer said that Smallville was waving the flag while there was no Superman movies. So these people respected Smallville. I don't know if they respected Smallville enough to understand what Smallville did right. People always say, well, Smallville was a TV series. They had a long time to perfect it. But the concept of Smallville is in that pilot. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. If you have seen it and you've forgotten it, go back and watch it. That sets a wonderful premise of a young man, you know, discovering who he is. Not exactly, he doesn't know where exactly he's from, but he knows he's from another planet. By the end of that pilot, he's got this, you know, brilliant relationship with Lana Lang. Then he's got this weird relationship with Lex Luthor. He saves the devil's life before he becomes the devil. What a fucking fantastic concept by Alan Miles. So after that's over, to come in with Man of Steel, a lot of people saying, no. It was too short a time to do it. And when you've got something so right, and Smallville was done so right. Smallville wasn't perfect, like anything made by human hands. It's flawed. Of course it is. But it was pretty near on perfect. It was a groundbreaking TV show. I don't think it should ever be rebooted, because I think the nut jobs involved in entertainment today wouldn't even allow Superman to save a woman. I mean, because she's so independent, if she's falling off a fucking building, she should be able to fucking save herself, right? But anyway, rant over there. And so I think Smallville was the ghost that haunted the DCEU, but haunted especially Superman. In terms of Cavill, he's a great Superman. He's tall, he's good looking, he's got the hair, he's got the eyes, he's a great actor. In terms of Cavill, as Superman, in that costume, using the powers, being Clark Kent, there is nothing wrong with that, you know, that version of Superman. I think the problems come because this Superman kind of, and this was a Superman Begins movie, to be fair, but he didn't seem that bothered about the petrol station exploding, all the stuff going around. And because this is a Superman supposed to be in the real world, Snyder looks at it as saying there will be casualties. Here's the problem with that. Superman's always been a character that can save the day, that hasn't been in the real world. So there aren't, you know, now and again they may do a story where maybe someone dies and Superman didn't get there quick enough, and they'll make a whole story about that, how that really, really affects Clark deeply. They didn't do it in this film. The whole idea of this film is not even Superman can save anyone. Oh well, they're dead, that's life. And this is what upset people. But that is not who Superman is. As much as I love Man of Steel and BVS, you've got to understand that Superman's whole gig is that he values human life. And if someone dies because he didn't get there too soon, or there's too many Kryptonians to fight while they're all dying, that is something that the writer, David Goyer, should have in print at the end of the movie. You know, him cataloguing the fact that people died, that he wasn't able to save everyone, that he will try and do better next time. If you're going to do that, fair enough, but at least have the character feel bad about it. Because that's what happened in Smallville. Clark always blamed himself for everything. This is why it worked, because our Miles understood the core of Superman. That's why it worked. Now, Cavill may, let me say that again. Snyder may be a Superman fan, he may be a DC fan. I'm not sure what he is. But I'm not saying he doesn't understand the core of Superman, but I think he chose to ignore it. That's the problem. And when you get to that, you make people angry. And this is why Smallville worked, because if there was some destruction in Smallville, something did happen, Clark would always have that moment where he felt guilty about it. And I think this is the core problem of this Snyderverse and the interpretation of Superman. And this is why there were issues there. And I think in the future, they're going to have to be more careful. I think what they've done on Superman and Lois is perfect. This is a more modern day Superman in his prime. He's married to Lois, he's got children, but he's a hero. He's still going out there saving people's lives. He's not giving up being Superman because he's got a family, but there's a balance there. There's pressures for him, and it works. And I think that's a really good interpretation. I'm not saying it's the best interpretation. I'm saying it's a really good present day interpretation of Superman. And I think what it does is keep in mind what Snyder did and try and avoid certain trappings of it. Now, the villain was very similar to Michael Shannon's Zod in Man of Steel in Superman and Lois. The villain's goals are very similar to, General Zod, Michael Shannon's Zod in Man of Steel. So there's certain things they did take from Snyder, the way it looks, some of the choreography, but the things that you must always never ignore, that Superman is on this earth. Superman exists to protect people and save people. And if he's in a fight and people die, he's going to feel bad about it. That's the nuances that weren't in Man of Steel, that wasn't in BVS, and that's problematic. And quite frankly, if you're not willing to accept that about the character, I'm not saying that he must always succeed and save everyone. It's not possible. But when he fails, there should be a line there for the character to feel bad and for it to work and for it to feel genuine. That's what Snyder didn't do, and I think that's why the ghost of Smallville haunted Man of Steel and BVS. And it wasn't like everyone thinks that Christopher Reeve's Superman, even though everyone mentions it, because what Smallville did, it became the brand new kind of Superman the movie. The version everyone looks up to. Superman the movie is great, but now we've kind of got a more modern version of classic iconic Superman in Smallville. And I think in terms of Superman and Lois, I'm not, history will tell us if Superman and Lois goes down as a classic interpretation, iteration and adaptation of Superman, but I think at least for its first season, it did the right things. It learned the mistakes from the Snyderverse, but it also took elements from the Snyderverse. So there was a balance there. And Superman is a difficult character to get right. I don't think he's difficult to write if you've got an imagination. And as I say, you understand the core of this character. He's a very special character. And if you think being a good person is boring, just because he's a good guy, it doesn't mean he can't crack a joke. It doesn't mean he can't have an interesting personality. I think he's a little bit more interesting in Superman and Lois, but at the end of the day, I still think there's room for improvement in a live-action Superman interpretation. I think he can be funny, he can have a personality, but he still can be a pure-hearted, good guy. He can have it all. This has been the DCEU Daily. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Remember, follow me on Twitter at MoviesTVMad. Follow me on Instagram at MoviesTVMad555. And of course, please follow me on TikTok, where we have a lot of fun at MoviesTVMad XXX. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you never miss this subscription. I hope you're enjoying the videos. I'll be back tomorrow with more DCEU Daily. Until then, goodbye.